Hi, Lee.
Hello, Matt.
Is this the first time we've had you on in the new year?
No, there was another time, but no. But Happy New Year to you. Anyway.
Where you been?
I went to L.A. last week. I was actually in Los Angeles. I was back in my hotel room on Sunday morning when Kobe's helicopter crashed, and it came on the news, and it was very surreal. For the next, I was there till Wednesday, and the local news shows every morning, every evening. I mean, whenever they were on, I would say 20% of their coverage for like a half-hour show was all about Kobe in some form or fashion. I went down to Sunday afternoon, went for a walk on Hermosa Beach with a friend of mine, and there was an inordinate number of people wearing Kobe jerseys or T-shirts and stuff, as they were just strolling. I mean, it wasn't overcrowded. There was nothing special going on at Hermosa Beach, but it was eerie.
Can you recall an example of an athlete that had that type of connection with his city?
When Thurman Munson died for the Yankees, when was that? 78, 79, plane crash. But I mean, such a different time and a different athlete and a whole different thing. I mean, Thurman Munson was surly. He was a great player. Of course, Kobe Bryant was pretty surly also.
August of 70. Thurman Munson was August of 79. He was 32 years old.
Yeah, and he was still a great player.
Yeah.
He was still not necessarily in the prime of his career. I guess you could say he still had a lot of good years left. It was horrible. I did since later, of course, we'll talk about beers. None of them from Los Angeles, but great beer stuff going on out in L.A. in that area. Oh my!
Really?
Just everywhere. You can't not find great beer anymore. You're just not looking. And by the way, you getting so? What were you just being theatrical, or are you really angry about the guy who didn't vote for Derek Jeter?
I'm sorry, I couldn't get past the fact that you just used a double negative.
Well, like the Hall of Fame is to me, it's a wonder. If you've ever get a chance to go there, it's really a cool museum, and it's a beautiful town in upstate New York. But it's a total joke, because in a sport in which the idea is to get the most hits, the guy with the most hits is not in Pete Rose. The greatest baseball player who ever lived is Barry Bonds. He's not in. And the greatest pitcher who ever pitched is Curt Schilling, and he's not in. I mean, not Curt.
Come
on.
Not
Curt Schilling.
Okay.
Not Curt Schilling.
Roger Clemens.
Well, thank you, Roger Clemens. Yeah. What am I? The hell?
Well,
Kurt Schilling should be in.
To your point, yes, but, I would agree. Curt Schilling should be in also.
Yeah. And so what the hell did I say Curt Schilling for? That's so
because
weird.
He's also a guy that's been snubbed. So I can understand it was top of mind when you were
right.
You were confusing the steroid guys with the guy that's been left out because of his political beliefs.
Two Red Sox players too. But anyway, so that's my thought about that. I was just and I know you're of course a big Yankees fan, and I was growing up, and Derek Jeter was a very, very good baseball player.
Yeah, I'm completely appalled by the Hall of Fame voting. Honestly, it's same in the NFL. The whole Hall of Fame process to me is it's mind-numbing that voters get to be judge, jury, executioner, and this nerd who never saw Babe Ruth play is going to anonymously, under a cloak of secrecy, not vote for Derek Jeter because in his mind, 100 years ago, Babe Ruth should have been a unanimous Hall of Famer, but because he and Ty Cobb weren't, nobody gets to be. That's for you to decide, jackass. Your job is to vote if a guy should be a Hall of Famer, yes or no. And if you answer no to Derek Jeter, you're an ass and you shouldn't be voting for the Hall of Fame. Period.
I'm sorry I brought it up to get you all riled up again.
Well, you asked if I was serious, if I was being theatrical. Here's your answer.
I guess since I turn the TV off when I come on with you, so I can't see you. It doesn't, the sound's not the same anyway. It would make me laugh.
Yeah.
So I can't see your face.
Yeah.
But
he's the host of Sports Monday. What year are you in? The 29th, 30th, 32nd year? 42?
Some days it feels like that.
Been a long time.
25 years.
25 years of Sports Monday. Wow.
Sports 225. Well, I think it was 13 years of Sports Monday. It's probably been 12 now, the other one. I don't know. I'd have to go back and see that. But, they can't fire me because I own the show, no matter how bad I am or how old I get.
People wonder why you keep ending up on TV. Well, can't fire the guy that owns it.
Can't fire him. That's it, and people must watch at least a couple of them. And thank you for both of you viewers. Matt, you watched the Super Bowl, of course, right?
I did watch the Super Bowl, yes. I also drank a lot of beer while watching the Super Bowl, which is unlike me because I'm much more of a whiskey guy than a beer guy, but I happen to have beer in the fridge, and my problem is that I can't just drink a beer. So a beer became like 9 beers.
Ooh, that's
and
a lot
so
of beers.
that was a lot of beers. So Monday was a little tough getting up and doing that workout.
What beer did you drink?
Well, I had several different beers.
Okay, I had a couple of juicifers.
I don't. You know what? I don't mind saying this. The allegiances. I know people are fickle about their beer allegiances, but I happen to have some Stella in the fridge. I had like 3 of those. My brother-in-law was over the night before. He likes Miller Lite, so I had some left over. I had a few of those, and then I had 4 Juicifer.
4 Juicifers.
Yeah.
Will put you on your butt, Matt.
After the 3 Stella and the 2 Miller Lights. That's what I told you, Lee. That's why I can't drink beer, because when I drink beer, a beer becomes 9 beers. And then it's like I wake up the next morning and look in the fridge and I go, where's all my beer? Well, I drank it all the night before.
Well, and Stella's a good beer. And last week at Costco, there was a 2 12-packs of Stella for $24. That's really cheap.
I don't want it, because if I drink beer, then you see what happens. And that's in my age now, as I've learned, as I'm not old, but as I get older, how my body reacts to different things that I eat and drink. It's why I've found whiskey. It's just a much better option for me. I can sip on an ounce of whiskey for 30 minutes and really enjoy it, or I can drink 8 beers in 30 minutes and then be really fat.
Well, I had those 2 Juicifers in the first half, and then in the fourth quarter, sipped a little Basil Hayden, and that was the end of it.
Hey, that's a good idea. It sounds like a really good night, actually, as a matter of fact.
It was, I tasted it. It was good.
All right.
And my cross-street neighbor, Brad, made hamburger sliders.
Shout out, Brad.
There you go.
Is the LSU basketball team going to win the SEC this year?
God, it sure seems like it. I mean, they're going to win tomorrow and be 9-0. I mean, that's really good. And this with with what, 3-4 road victories in there?
Mm-hmm.
Granted, there's still a good part of the schedule to go. This is a really, really good team. It's not. I think it would be. Well, let me put it to you like this. I don't think the SEC is having an up year. The competition's not unbelievably good, and LSU has lived on the edge and won some really close games. And all the things have gone in the Tigers' favor. But this team has a really, not only, I've said this to you before, maybe the most overall best athletic basketball team LSU's ever had, from top to bottom. And they run, jump, defend, they give it up on defense, they crash the boards. The way this team hits on the offensive boards is great. But they have a real great basketball sports brain. Skylar Mays and Emmett Williams and Trendon Watford, these guys all get it. And you can tell the team feeds off of it. And then you mentioned Marshall Graves before in an earlier segment. He's 4 for 10 from 3-point range.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't play that much, but that's the one thing you could, if you're going to look at one weakness you could look at a couple, but one is LSU only shoots 30% on 3-pointers, which I think is 9th or 10th in the SEC. And, in a sport where that's so important, maybe, you look and say Achilles heel there, and the other is there's no true big man. But, man, they make great plays. They're just a super, super good basketball team. Really, really good. I still don't know how far they'll go in the NCAA tournament. It's all about matchups. They don't play a particularly good set half-court offense, but, man, they're athletic. They can get up and down. And when I mean up and down, I mean up and down the court in addition to skying and the other thing is the kid coming back eventually, Charles Manning, he was really, really bringing nice stuff to the table. I think he's a super 6th, 7th, 8th man who does really, really good stuff. I like him.
You probably know the answer to this, but do you know the last time LSU basketball won back-to-back conference titles?
I don't know. I don't even know if it's ever happened.
Okay, so you don't know the answer to this. I do know the answer, by the way.
I was thinking maybe, I know 80, 81, maybe those 2 years?
Nope. Oh, yeah.
Before then? Or?
No, they didn't. They did not, no.
No, I mean they won the 1984. I mean they went to the Final Four in '81, and
Correct.
in 1980 was really good.
But they did not win the SEC regular season in '80. They did win the SEC regular season in '81. The last time now regular season, mind you, they did. You talk about like conference tournaments or all that stuff. I'm talking about regular season SEC championships.
I'm with you.
1953 and 1954. Wow. It's been 66 years since they've won back-to-back regular season SEC basketball titles.
Other than Kentucky and maybe Tennessee in the glory years.
What about Florida?
How many?
06, 07?
Maybe.
I mean, they won back-to-back national championships.
Right.
But that second one, though, they did struggle in the regular season in that second one, then turned it on in the tournament.
Not a lot of teams have won back-to-back SEC regular season titles. It's hard. It's even if the league's down, it's still a hard league with great athletes.
Yeah.
It keeps upgrading its coaching, and to their credit, they end up getting 5-6 teams in the tournament every year. Even some years where you go, how did this happen?
Yeah.
But this is a super team.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Let me say this too. I'm fired up about Bo Pelini coming back. I love Bo Pelini.
I'm fired up about Bo Pelini. I'm fired up about you. I'm fired up about you. I'm fired up about Bo Pelini. I'm fired up about beer. That's what I'm fired up. I'm fired up on Sports Monday and my friend Larry Feinstein.
I got yourself a great beer. You can rock me now. Go ahead.
Hit it.
Oh, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans?
Beer.
Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man.
Beer.
I could kiss and hug it.
Beer.
I'd rather chuck it.
Beer.
Got my belly out to here.
Beer.
I could not refuse it.
Beer.
I could really use it.
Beer. Okay, take it away.
Matt, there is a brewery called Revolver Brewing. It's a southwest suburb of Dallas, and more to the southwest of Fort Worth. I don't know how I never knew anything about this brewery before, but they're doing some good stuff. And the one I have this week is called Blood and Honey American Ale.
Ooh.
So the Revolver Brewing Company, Blood and Honey American Ale. And I will tell you, it is one of the nicest tasting beers. If you had these for the Super Bowl, I don't know how many you would have drank.
I'd had a full case of them, man.
Let me tell you, my guy Ross from Crescent brought a couple of these by to try this one. He said it's only available in draft right now, but cans will launch March 2nd. But right now that's on tap at the Chimes, the Bulldog, Red Zeppelin, among others. But in the game notes they say an unfiltered deep golden ale brewed with malted 2-row barley and wheat, finished with blood orange peel, Texas honey, and a blend of spices. Now, if you don't know blood orange is a great orange. Most people have never had it, and it's just a fantastic fruit. Blood orange, by the way, blood orange juice and vodka is an unbelievably nice thing too, but that's besides the point. This one is 7% alcohol. Ooh, could you see you as a bunch of Revolver Brewing Blood and Honey American Ale at 7%?
Wouldn't matter.
Drinking day. Oof.
Wouldn't matter. I'd pound
This
like
beer,
12 of them. Just keep them going. Like some people, they drink your IPAs and your high proof. They're like, oh, I can only have 2. No, like just keep them coming.
This I'm telling you, this beer this Blood and Honey American Ale was fantastic. I just loved it. Revolver Brewing Company out of Texas, and I'm glad they got it locally. And I'm putting this place on my go-to list the next time I'm in the Dallas area, for sure.
He is Lester Feinberg, host of Sports 225. Thanks. We'll talk next week.
Go to sports225.com for all the details and the real name of the show. Bye, Matt.